Hey friends, Dave here with Stahls UK, and today we're talking all about quick and easy placement on a heat press. Talking to decorators over the years, proper placement is often a challenge for new decorators or existing decorators bringing on new employees. But with a heat press, that's pretty much the only thing you have to learn or worry about when printing apparel. So come on close, let me show you some standard placements and how you can easily achieve them while still being efficient and effective on your heat press. Of course, we want to minimize any misprints and we want to print shirts that customers are going to want to love to wear. Of course, you want to avoid the belly print or any prints that are maybe unflattering to wear. So let's go ahead and load onto our 40 by 50 platen. The first step to getting a great placement is loading the platen properly. So I went all the way on, all the way down. If I lined it up straight, you should see the seams here line up with the edge of the platen and are even. To double check to make sure we're loaded straight, we can go ahead and grab where the seam on the side meets the sleeves and just look on both sides to ensure that it looks like the same distance. Now on a side seamed garment like this one from Audis, we're gonna make sure that we have that side seam and we could feel it all the way down the platen to make sure it is even on both sides and nice and parallel. Once we're okay with that, we do need to make sure that we get this collar right here off of the platen. You want to make sure that you have a nice, smooth, flat, even surface across the entire platen here on the bottom to ensure you have nice, even pressure for a rock solid, frustration-free heat transfer fuse. So let's start with just a center chest print. Now, my rule, typically in my apparel decorating experience, is most graphics are going to start right about 3 fingers down. So that does vary a little bit based on the artwork size, and I'll show you that here. So let's grab one of our Ultra Color Max direct-to-film transfers. And of course, if you know Ultra Color Max, it is a hot peel, single-step transfer that is absolutely incredible to wear and frustration-free, so easy to print. So here, I'm gonna line this one up about 3 fingers down from the top of the collar, right where this top of the heat press on this design sits. Now, the weight of this graphic is all right about right here. So to ensure that I am in the right spot for this graphic, I'm going to check there for these seams right where the sleeves meet the body. And if you draw a line straight across the entire platen, right to each side, you'll see that the main weight of the graphic is centered almost straight on that line, knowing that I'm going to be in that proper center chest placement. If you have a graphic that's more horizontal, similar to what we have right here, you do not want to go below this line. If we are going to print here, this is going to print on the belly or the abdomen of the shirt, an unflattering print that you want to avoid. Nobody wants to wear this. So we're gonna move this back up right there, about that 3 fingers, maybe even a little bit higher, double check, and we're going to have a spot on center chest placement. Now, of course, this is a smaller graphic, so let's move to a larger full front graphic and see how our placement is going to change and be a little bit closer to the collar. So just like how we sized up that first design by looking right here, by holding the sleeves where they meet the body, if we were to center the design right on that line, of course, we're going to be off the top of the platen. So with this being so tall, we're going to move a little bit closer up to the collar here to ensure that the weight is going to be here on the center chest and we still have room for the bottom of our graphic. So right here, our baseline for our text and the main weight of the graphic is going to align right here along this, giving us a nice full front print. And if I measure based on my method that I looked at before, we're right to the top, but we are a lot closer to this collar than where we were with our 3-finger measurement before. Now we looked at the center chest and a full front print, 2 of the most popular sizes of what you'll decorate. But let's look at something, say a left chest print, which could be tricky for many, many decorators. I'll show you how to do it very, very simply using those same techniques that we just looked at, the measurement that you always have, and the guides on the garment that will always be there. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the shirt back down on the platen so we can see our collar line, so it's a little bit easier to gauge our placement. For most standard placements on crew neck t-shirts we're going to use this seam where it meets the collar. So right here on your shoulder seam where it's going to meet the collar. That's going to be the center line of our graphic if we draw a line straight down the entire body of the garment. So we'll center our graphic right on that line. Now, of course, you don't want to be too low to get on the abdomen or the belly area, and too high isn't necessarily the best look. So we're going to space the top of our graphic. Instead of 3 fingers, now we'll use our whole hand. We'll go right down to the top of the graphic. Now that we have our transfer placed here, let's double check it by going to the garment. We'll grab our sleeve and go back to where it meets the side seam here on the side of the garment. If we draw a line straight across, that is the absolute bottom of the graphic. We're never going to go lower than that for a left chest placement. In fact, usually when I take that seam, you could half it again, and that should be right on the center line of the graphic. So if I go across the platen, we are right centered right here in the middle of our graphic on a line across and a line down from this seam. Right there is going to be an absolutely perfect left chest print. Now be sure, before you print, we're going to roll the collar back up off the heat press, keeping our graphic in that same location, and we can press. Over here on our Fusion, equipped with my favorite Tag Along Platen. Now the Tag Along Platen is going to boost your efficiency because now it's going to be much quicker and easier to get that shirt loaded centered on the platen. Let me show you. So we'll take our garment, and just like we did on the auto open clamshell press, we're going to open it up and hold the side seams or the sides of the garment if you're using a tubular tee, and we'll load it right on. I'm going to, again, go all the way on, but you noticed the neck shape of this platen has automatically centered our collar, so we know the center line of the garment is going straight down. Now, we'll take it and go all the way on to ensure that our seams here on the top shoulder shape are even. If one is down here and one is up here, we know the garment is twisted. So it's a great way to judge and just see if we pull all the way. I know I was holding each side seam when I put it on. These seams are squared up. So I know if I double check by grabbing the sides of the shirt where the sleeve meets the body of the garment, as well as feel for the side seams all the way down, it is centered all the way down the platen. And that is absolutely paramount for a good print. Just how easy it is with this extra help to help center the garment is so quick, and one of the reasons why I absolutely love the Tag Along Platen. Now, of course, with the Tag Along Platen, if you haven't seen it, you can easily reach up underneath and grab the neck taping, pulling it over, so now you are printing the inside neck for an additional branding location. You could print both of these print locations with just one press of the heat press, which makes it incredibly profitable to use and upsell your customers, or if you're running your own brand, the marketing potential of putting a label and custom labeling your garments. It's also increasing the value because some tees, well, have a discount connotation to them or perception in people's minds. So when you're removing the inside label, as most labels are tearaway, now it is your own custom blank that nobody can find online. They're not going to be able to see how much that blank costs. So as a decorator, it is increasing your profit potential. But now we have our collar shape clearly stated, and we'll use the same techniques that we did over on the 40x50 platen. So with our smaller center chest graphic, we'll lay this one right here. Again, using our 3 fingers, because now our collar is visible. However, with the collar shape of the platen, that collar is not going to affect our pressure at all. You can see it sinking down following the collar shape of the platen, making it so quick and easy to be able to print. I'll put my 3 fingers, and I know I'm going to be placed in the same location. We could again grab our sleeves where they meet the body of the garment, drawing a line straight across, and right in the middle of our graphic is that line crossing the platen. Double checking to ensure that we are in that correct spot. Of course, with a full front graphic and the Tag Along Platen, we are reducing the print area. So instead of the 40x50 being able to accommodate this larger graphic, unfortunately, the platen ends about right here, and this is as far as we could go down. So to place this graphic on here isn't going to work with the smaller platen size. Now, of course, This is a gigantic print for a full front. This is why it's important to have more than one platen for your Hotronx press. Which of course, the quick change makes it so convenient and easy to be able to just release the lever, lift the platen off the press, drop it in, reducing your downtime and making you more efficient in your shop. Let's look at a left chest right here before we move on to the ultimate placement tool. Of course, here on the Tag Along Platen, it is a little bit more difficult to get that placement because our shoulder seam where it meets the collar is up here and kind of below our printing area wrapped around the platen. So I'm going to grab that seam and try to hold it up as if it was on a regular platen. Again, we'll draw a line straight down our platen, and that's going to be the center line of our print. We'll grab our smaller transfer, following that line again straight down, going from our collar, again 4 fingers, to the top of the graphic, and that's going to be right there on our placement. Always go to the center line. Nobody wants a left chest print over in their armpit or lower. So when in doubt, go closer to the center and up. It's still going to be a perfectly wearable quality print. Right here, again, we could check our sleeve on this side, halving it again. So 1/4 up from our sleeve, all the way across, right to the other side. And that is a perfectly placed left chest print. You could use these same techniques for a right chest as well. Let's go see the pinnacle of innovation in heat transfer and print placement technology. We are at the Hotronx Dual Air Fusion equipped with the ProPlace IQ. Now the Dual Air Fusion is a pneumatic air-powered press that's going to increase your efficiency and essentially allow one operator to operate 2 heat presses at once, boosting the total garments that you could produce per hour. So with our Ultra Color Max transfer, you can see that we have some grid lines here already projected from the Hotronx cloud system. And of course, we have our graphic. So essentially, this is placed for a center chest print for this graphic size. And as you can see, right at 3 fingers. So all you have to do is after uploading your file and sizing it, selecting the center chest placement, now you just place the logo to the light, and you can see here, it is exactly 3 fingers from the collar. Now, I do want to back it up and show you how easy it is to load this press as well. We'll remove our transfer, and pulling our shirt off, you can see projected here on the platen is a grid that you could configure to whatever measurement that you want, as well as our actual graphic that we have placed with the Snap 2 placements that are already inside the Hotronx cloud system, sized for different sizes. As you saw in our example, a large full front print is actually placed much closer to the collar, and that's exactly how the software does it. So we're going to, again, grab our shirt by the side seams, and we're going to load on. But now we have a center line down the center of the actual platen that is projected, so we know exactly where the center line is of our garment when we're loading. We load it on using the full threadability, and I'm going to go all the way on like I did, but now I can ensure that this bold center line is right in between our collar. So just like that, I know I have kind of 2.5 squares on each side, and I'm going to roll it back off. Then with the ProPlace, you place the logo to the light for perfect placement every single time with any design. The Dual Air Fusion is effortless to operate with an automatic foot pedal operation and just a 2-button press to automatically print. It reduces so much fatigue for those long days on press for larger commercial shops or even smaller decorators looking to boost their efficiency with an air-powered machine. As soon as the press comes up, it shuttles over to the other platen for another application. And of course, Ultra Color Max, just an effortless hot peel and completely finished and perfectly placed right on a center chest. I hope with all of these different techniques and all of the different technology that you could utilize as an apparel decorator, that you are going to be more efficient, reduce your misprints, and absolutely wow your customers. Be sure to like, subscribe to stay up to date on all of the helpful heat printing tips, tricks, application instructions, small business tips, or even marketing tips, and oh, so much more that's coming out every single week right here. But until next time, I'm Dave. Happy pressing.